Hey guys, this is Ruben Dua from Dubb's Online Summit Action, and I have with me Martin, and we're going to get into this topic of outcome-based prioritization for prospecting. So this is very specific, and we have just the guy to talk about this. So Martin, if you could please just start with a short bio, and let's get into this.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ruben, for having me and for inviting me on. For your audience that may not know, I'm the CEO of an outbound sales development agency called The Outbound Sales Guy. And what kind of gives me that distinction is that I've been a sales development rep all outbound for the better part of 12 years with either software IT services companies or with actual outbound agencies. And also, for anyone who's not connected or following me on LinkedIn, it seems like everyone does. I am totally blind, so it kind of brings another element and kind of a curiosity to prospects when they learn that. So it's a good pattern interrupt to use a lot.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So what is the priority process? Could you take us through that, please?
Absolutely. So with every client that we engage with, and also for our own uses here when we're at the Outbound Sales Guy, when we're running a campaign, we run a 30-day outbound multi-channel contact sequence to ultimately book that meeting, get in front of a prospect and book that meeting, and what we focus on, qualified meeting. And what we try and do is we want to focus in on people that are the highest priority. So there's four outcomes that we focus around, and they include yes, no, not me, not now. And when you break it down, quite simply, it's nothing that's really complex. But if you don't have that framework in place, then people, it's like anything else, right? Like if you don't, you want to go to the gym and work out, but you have no structure, no program in place, you're not going to maximize your results. So this way, you're always reaching out, contacting, following up with the highest priority prospect at the right time, and then you're working your way through each priority. So the highest is yes. The next would be the folks that are not me, because they're, and I'll get into what each outcome entails in a moment. But so the highest priority is yes. The next would be not me, and then not now, and then the lowest priority are those folks that say no.
Got it. And I really like the way that you decipher that. Yes, I am interested in your product service. We might be interested, but it's not me that's the decision maker. I presume that's what not me
Correct.
means.
Yep.
Yes, this sounds interesting. Yes, we suffer from that problem, but the timing is just not right. And then, no, I'm not interested. And sometimes, isn't it just delightful to get that no, because you can just save 6 months of your life chasing?
Personally, I'd rather somebody be upfront with me and say no, and okay, perfect. Now I don't have to put you in a sequence, follow up with you, and be like, hey, we spoke last week, and you said to call you back, and well, no, it's still not a good time. Like, just be honest. You're not. I think subconsciously people they're like, oh, I'm gonna hurt their feelings if I say no. I'd rather you say no, so I can move on.
Yeah. How true is that? Yeah. How true is that?
Yep.
Great. So then, this is, I think, the classic conversation of objection handling. So now how do we deal with some of these objections? I'm not the decision maker. The timing is not right. What are some of the things that we might say in an empathetic, in a compassionate, in a listening based format in order to convey value and hopefully bring on and create a new relationship?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say someone says, no, it's not me. Hey, Ruben, I completely understand. I appreciate you telling me it's not you. Um, do you mind if I ask you who would be the right person within the organization that this might, you know, be a little at least on the mark with and understand some of the challenges that they're struggling with today, or even explore if there's a remote interest, whether that's today or down the road.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then you want to get that information from that individual and you know make sure you just don't breeze by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been involved in sales processes where they refuse to have an initial discovery call unless the decision maker was there. They said, "Oh, if the CEO can't make it, then we're just going to cancel this meeting." And when I read that, I remember reading that. Actually, this was somewhat recently, and I was like, "This is pretty rude. I don't understand. Why don't they just want to take a first meeting, see if it's a qualifier, and then see if it's a good fit, and then maybe try to climb the climb the totem pole, if you will." I'd love to get your take on that. I mean, what do you think about refusing to spend time or to be really, really disciplined or maybe overly strict, you might say, on those some of those qualifying rules?
I think it's very narrow-minded,
Mm.
depending upon the size and type of organization and offering. So, for example, when I was with one of the IT service companies that I was with many moons ago, one of the verticals that we were selling into, or that I had to prospect into, was dental clinics and chiropractors, etc. So sometimes those are small offices, and you might be speaking with a administrative person who, quote unquote, is not the decision maker, but they're the ones that's going to be basically running the qualification for the practice, right? And just go to
Mhm.
the doctor or the dentist or whomever and get their signature. So
Mm.
I think you have to be aware of what type of offering it is, what type of organization it is. Like if it's a multi-billion-dollar enterprise organization, then yeah, maybe you don't want to speak to someone that like, okay, you could be maybe a champion for me, but really we need to get to the buying committee and have a frank conversation with those individuals.
Yeah. So, how do we set this program up for organizations and for leaders to adopt so that they can maximize the results here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this can be set up in your CRM, in your sales, if you're using sales engagement platform. So for us internally, we have it built into our sales engagement platform, and then our CRM, our dialer, LinkedIn, it all ties back. So we can go in and create the workflow for, and when we're building a cadence that we can create, if a prospect responds to any communication, whether that's on the phone, they said yes, I want to have a meeting. They're open to getting more information. Connect with you on LinkedIn. Um, I'll follow up. That's all a yes priority.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets you would go in. Now, if you're on the phone, you select your disposition, and different dialers will have different dispositions. But for us, if we select connected, meeting booked, then that ties back to our engagement platform with a yes. Um, if someone says no, reach out to me in 6 months, then that again we select those dispositions within the dialer, and it ties back to the engagement.
Mm.
Same on LinkedIn. If we connect with someone, right off the hop, they say, "Yeah, this we're actually looking at this right now. Let's set up a time to chat." then we can tie that right back to a yes priority in the engagement platform.
So I think the thing that I'm really taking away from this is how do we prioritize our prospects in a better fashion? How do we figure out if we have a list of 1,000 or 10,000 and get that down to, let's say, 100, 500, so that we can spend our effort, our time on the most valuable, the most closable prospects. And I think that that's really intelligent because it's just efficient. It's absolutely
exactly
efficient.
like what. So why do you want to spend? Let's say you have you're the sales development manager or the VP of sales, and you've brought on a new representative, and they're inexperienced.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to have them spend their time, not necessarily wasted, but spent on the wrong prospects when they could go into the tools, whether that's their engagement platform, their dialer, their CRM, whatever, and they can see, oh, okay, these are I've got 30 yes, 30 yes prospects, 5 not me's, and 5 not nows. So I'm going to start with all these yes people and get them towards a meeting if they're not already committed to a meeting, and then go to the people that are not me and then not now, and then the people that are not now, you set a threshold for them. Like, you don't just disregard them entirely, because a lot can happen, right? So we have a right now we have a 6-month threshold. So if someone is a no priority, we'll circle back in 6 months, put them back into the sequence, or back into the cadence rather, and start all over, because who knows what has happened within that time frame.
That makes sense. Now, what would you say what are the channels that we should be focusing on for sales? Obviously, there's different channels for different folks, but what would you say is relevant? We got LinkedIn, we got calling, we got SMS, we got email, advertising. What are some of the flavors that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so what we use internally and with all our clients is LinkedIn, phone, email, one-to-one video, and SMS. For SMS is more for further down the, it's still at the top of the funnel, but it's not for initial touch point. It's more like probably about a 5th to 7th touch point.
Got it. And then you mentioned my favorite channel, which is one-to-one video. So I'd love to learn about what problems one-to-one video solves, and then what some of the results that you've seen are.
So I'll start with one of the results, and that came for me back in I believe it was late November, early December, and I reached out to I had somebody make an intro to me. So I reached out to the VP of sales, the person that was introduced to me on LinkedIn, and I sent them a video. And I said, basically, this is why I'm reaching out. Would love to find time to understand what it is you're looking for, because they're looking for support with outbound sales. And I got an email. I forget whether it was the same day. It may have been the same day. It may have been the next day. I forget. And it was the VP of sales, like, I've never received a video like this before. I really loved it, and it's how you're getting the meeting. So it's like, oh, well then, that's pretty sweet. Video works. But I would say some of the challenges with video, or maybe the problems with video is, and I've suffered with this myself, is just that fear factor of hitting record and then be like, well, I got to say something now. And so then you end up re-recording, and then you also want to try and personalize. So I think it's kind of like when people are trying to create email, they spend too much time trying to analyze and personalize instead of just being raw and being authentic and just shoot the video, send it, move on.
That's very well said. I think the same challenges that we suffer from when we're writing an email, when we want to make sure that the grammar, there's no typos, there's no issues in the text. Some of those same fears, concerns, over worrying might exist, in fact, when we record videos. And I think that is just a product of exactly what you said. It's fear, and it's not wanting to be judged, not wanting to embarrass ourselves, to miscommunicate, to present landmines. Now, the reality is that whether it's text or whether it's video, you're going to get something over. And if someone's watched it, you can't take that back. What's cool about video, at least with Dubb, is that little shameless plug here. We have the ability to edit a video after it was sent. So you can't do this on YouTube, but we built that tech because a lot of the time someone might convey a video, send it over, and then say, you know what, I made a mistake in that. And then they can go do a little edit or a little tweak or add something, change something. And that way, that video, yes, it might have been seen initially, but at least it was corrected for the future, which of course you cannot do with text once it is sent. But
once it's out there, it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. But I really appreciate those concerns. We call these imposter syndrome. Yep. We call these, fear of judgment. And of course, like with most things, they get overcome with practice. So
I have a quick story if we have time.
Yeah, please.
Time allows. So
please.
I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe even 3. And I was on my iPad and I was on LinkedIn, and I thought, I'm gonna give it a shot. Try and record a video for once. Because I'm always pushing the boundaries, putting myself out there. And I thought, whatever, right? Just go for it. And I thought of something, okay, this is what I want to share. I got all set up. I recorded the video, put it out there on LinkedIn with a little caption. And a good friend of mine, good connection of mine, he doesn't let me live it down ever, but he sent me a note, a direct message. He's like, your video was recorded upside down. I'm like, oh well, okay. So I kind of stopped. I didn't do any more after that for a little bit, and then I'm like,
right.
No, can't be afraid. Just keep going. Keep practicing.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So you are not alone.
Well, my buddy, he never lets me live it down, which is it's funny now, but at the time I was like, yeah.
That is funny. Well, I will say this, that near my house, I see billboards that are upside down. And it's not a mistake, because there's one company in particular, Piken Real Estate Group, that does this frequently. And I've noticed that they've been doing it for years. And I noticed it one time, and then I noticed it another time. And it's a pattern disrupt. It's a total pattern disrupt, because when people see that, they're just jarred, they're taken back. And guess what? They feel so compelled to respond and say, hey, heads up, your video is upside down, which is a response. Yeah. So, what if as creative marketers, we lean into that and make it a strategy? What if we start with the video upside down and then slowly turn the video right side up and, convey that? Who knows what? I think it's all about, creating stories, capturing people's attention, being honest, conveying value, and then just driving conversations that result in long-lasting relationships. We're all about that. So thank you for sharing that.
But that also be like, it goes back to the fear factor too, right? So for a little bit, I allowed the fear to hold me back from doing more videos, because it's like, well, is it going to be the right side up? Is the lighting, because of my blindness, I'm always concerned about the lighting and the camera. And then I was just like, you know what? I honestly, I don't care. If it's perfect, it is. If it's not, then I'm not going to stress over it. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a photographer. I just want to get my message out there.
Well, I would like to personally partner with you to make Dubb more of an accessible platform. So I'd love to continue the conversation and to figure out how we can serve your needs. And I wanted to thank you for being a guest on Action Online Summit from Dubb. So thank you so much, Martin. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all having me, and it's been a real pleasure.
Thanks again. Stick around for some notes. Thank you.